Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Dude here, and today we're back with another setup video. This time we're going to be doing the Toyota Supra GT500 car. Obviously this is in the GR3 category and it's a brand new addition to Gran Turismo 7. I wanted to hop on the hype train and get a really good setup for you guys today. Now the Supra's placement within this game is very interesting. You know, most people would have expected it to go in Group 2 given the fact it's a GT500 JGTC car. However, they did decide to put it in Group 3, I guess because it's a lot older and isn't quite as fast as some of the modern Group 2 cars, which, you know, you gotta respect it. I guess for realism's sake, it does make sense. I would describe this car in GR3 as a high-speed specialist. The reason I say that is because although the acceleration out of low-speed corners isn't very good, and the car overall feels pretty sluggish in the lower-speed corners, in higher-speed corners it feels extremely hooked up. I could see this car being extremely good at a track like Tokyo Central or even the other Tokyos, because like the top-end performance is probably the best in the entire category, at least from what I've tested so far. However, the acceleration is a little bit lackluster. The turbo down low doesn't really provide you with very much power whatsoever. I haven't really tried messing around with putting the medium range turbo on it, but with the high range turbo it does make a lot of peak power and can howl down the straights, especially tracks that are more straight line based. This might actually do you good, but I do think it's quite average as far as lap time. I do think this car is extremely fun and it's one of my favorite GR3 cars the second they put it in the game, so I'm really excited. So before I get into the tune, guys, I just want to remind everyone that 71% of the people who watch my videos are currently not subscribed. If we can make that 69% instead, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, be sure to leave a like as well as comment your thoughts on the Supra GT500, whether it's your opinion on it being in Group 3 or just your opinion on the car in general. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into the setup. So here in the Supra GT500 1997. 1997 was the year I was born, so yeah, just a fun fact. But we do have an interesting setup here. Now, a lot of the stuff is very similar to the DBR9. A few notable differences, obviously being the ride height. Now in this game, I, usually run the ride heights extremely low, and I don't put a lot of rear ride height on the car because I feel like raking the car out in this game, although it does help your cornering a little bit, it really nukes your straight line speed a lot. So I find overdoing it really doesn't do anything for you. It doesn't provide you with enough extra rotation to justify the loss of straight line speed. In fact, in some cases I find the car actually rotates less. It kind of gets really just on edge and then goes into a four-wheel slide. But I do feel like this Supra could use a little bit of the rear ride height, so I added a bit, and I think this is a good balance for this car. Also running a little bit less rear camber than the DBR9 as well, because I just feel like it has a better feel like that. As far as the transmission goes, nothing too notable here either. This car is a very peaky, high revving car. At least you want to rev it as much as possible because that's where it makes peak power. You're going to notice I do have my first, second, and third gear really long. In fact, it's a lot longer on this car than any of the other setups I've made so far, just because I want to get my fourth, fifth, and sixth gears as tightly packed together as possible so I can get as many revs as possible at those higher speeds. That's kind of where this car's strength lies, is in the higher speed stuff. So I'm trying to optimize the power in those kind of corners or in those sections of the track. But yeah, no matter what you do with the gearing, I really do find it to be a little bit sluggish coming out of low speed corners. So I did make the first, second, and third gear extremely long, and I do like the feel of the car, at least with this. Obviously, a disclaimer: if you're running this car with the BOP or the balance of performance enabled, or you're running on a track where it doesn't have a very long straight, you could always move that final gear to the right to shorten your transmission and give yourself more revs if you don't have a long straight. Now, if you have an even longer straight than the one I will be using on Trial Mountain today, then moving the final gear to the left actually may be beneficial, as it will grant you more top speed at the end of sixth gear. Otherwise, guys, that's about it for the setup. So once again, guys, today we're going to be lapping Trial Mountain as always. It's going to be the second car on our leaderboard. I do not think it's going to take down the DBR9, but I do think it's going to set a very solid lap, be a good benchmark for a lot of the other Group 3 cars in the category. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and without further ado, let's get into the lap. So here we are once again at Trial Mountain Circuit. This Supra is extremely fun to drive around here. It's actually the track that I set the car up on, even if this car is not exactly perfectly suited to the second sector on this track. But yeah, here we get going. As you can see, the top speed, the car continues to pull all the way up to almost 180 miles an hour. Now in the first sector, this car is absolutely amazing. Like I said, the high-speed cornering performance is great. In fact, that's the fastest I've seen any car go through there in the Group 3 category. Now here is where the car tends to struggle a little bit. Coming through this corner, applying the throttle nice and carefully, this car can step out on you a little bit. It's not the most sketchy car in the world, but the turbo can catch you off guard. Again, as we come through these low-speed corners. Now, truth be told, the car actually doesn't feel too bad through here. As we set this up, try to stay nice and low, get a good exit. But yeah, the car honestly doesn't feel too bad on this part of the track, but it just kind of is slow due to the turbo lag and, you know, the car being a lot older and having less aero. But again, it pulls like a freight train once you get into the top end. It just keeps pulling hard on the brakes. Try to get in nice and tight. The car is understeering quite a bit here, and then it wants to oversteer on the throttle, but you get the turbo, you predict it, get through here, set up for the S's. Car almost stepped out there again, hard on the brakes. Get right in on the curb there, not too far on the curb, but it will suffice. Hard on the brakes. Missed the apex a little bit less here. But go into first gear, try to get the best exit you possibly can. And now this is, again, is another part of the track where this car will suffer a little bit. But you get it turned in, get it nice on the curb. And once again, power on the way out. Now this lap was pretty good. Again, I'm only taking 2 laps to do this. And, you know, it's the same rules for every car. Coming to the line, 143.890. Now that's a pretty solid lap, I'll say. I don't think it's going to blow any of the other GR3 cars out of the water. I know that I said the DBR9 is really good, but I believe there's going to be a lot of cars in between this and the DBR9. But I also don't think this is the slowest car in the Group 3 category maxed out. If you're driving it with BOP, it's going to be a completely different ball game. I'm not even really going to talk too much about BOP in these videos because the rumor has it there's going to be a massive BOP change in this game. So I don't want to give you guys any irrelevant information because honestly the BOP is going to be really different. But so far this car seems to be pretty strong, maxed out and with the BOP, and I think this is going to help you guys a lot, kind of get a feel for this car and have it drive a little more like a modern machine. Unfortunately, you can't mask some of this car's bigger weaknesses. Again, it's definitely a viable option. It's certainly a fun option, and if you're a sucker for some nostalgia, you're absolutely going to love this thing. So before we cap off the end of this video, once again guys, if you did enjoy the video and or the setup, be sure to leave a like as well as subscribe and comment your favorite Group 3 car in the category so I can actually end up getting to tune it later on. I do have a plan for the next 2 cars, but the more recommendations I get of a certain car, the more likely I am to post it. So keep that in mind. But yeah, guys, other than that, I'm done for the night. I hope you guys have a good one. I'm out.